Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. So as I'm sure most of you know, the tank update is on its way, and Riot is slowly one by one announcing each and every new tank that will be getting a massive rework or change. The first one that they made public was Sejuani, which I did make a video talking to you guys about and giving you the rundown on exactly what the issues are with Sejuani and what Riot plans to do to fix them. But next on the list we have none other than MAOKAI. MAOKAI being one of the best tank top laners at the very moment, being a fairly easy champion that offers a lot to his team, a lot of CC, and even a pretty good amount of damage. So let us take a quick look at what Riot is planning to do with MAOKAI, the issues they currently see with him, and I'll also give you guys my opinion on what Riot states about MAOKAI and what they want to do to kind of make this video a little bit more personal and hopefully a little bit more interesting. So if you enjoy me giving my own opinion a bit more on this, then let me know by hitting that like button. But without any further ado, let's get right into the actual MAOKAI changes. So the very first thing that Riot talks about is the fact that, well, he's just generically powerful. MAOKAI doesn't really have an exact purpose. He doesn't have something that he just simply excels at every single way. He's more of a champion that is just pretty strong in the general scheme of things. You know, he's picked very frequently in pro play. He's just a solid tank champion overall that will fit almost any comp, and you can pretty much pick MAOKAI regardless of what you have on your team, and it doesn't really even matter what the enemy team has on their team, because MAOKAI will most likely still be a good pick. He'll still fit the role. He'll still be able to do his job quite successfully, and that's kind of an issue. Champions should have unique aspects to their kit and what they offer to the team. They shouldn't be champions that essentially can be picked no matter the circumstances and still be effective. So that's kind of what they want to try and focus on. They will focus on him being more of this sort of anti-caster champion with his passive and his ability to claim and control areas with the saplings, and for his efficacy and durability to be contingent on leveraging these strengths. Now personally, I fully agree with this. MAOKAI is without question one of the best tank top laners at the very moment, next to maybe someone like Nautilus or so. And the reason that they're so good, especially MAOKAI, is just like they said, he can be fit into almost any single team comp, and this is why he's so damn popular in solo queue, in pro play. He just does way too much. His kit offers too much. He has CC, he has gap close, he's got wave clear, he's got scouting potential, he's got an AoE control ultimate, he's got a passive that heals him and gives him sustain in lane. I mean, honestly, what more do you want? The second thing they discuss is the fact that he has high power yet low satisfaction. To me, this is a very common trait among tank champions. They have very low kind of skill curve. They have a very low skill gap, or, you know, you don't have to put a lot of time to really understand how to play the champion. And MAOKAI definitely falls under that because, well, there's a lot of things that MAOKAI can do that will do a lot for his team, but when you actually do it, or you get it off, or you make it work, or you make it happen, there's not a whole lot of satisfaction. I mean, it just happens. And you know it happens, and you know that you just did it, but it's not anything impressive. I mean, that's kind of just what tanks are. They just go in, they just essentially soak a lot of damage, they have a lot of abilities that are easy to land and don't require a lot of skill, and even though you're doing a lot for your team, it never really feels like you actually are. And I fully agree with this, and this applies not just to MAOKAI, to many other tanks other than maybe Sejuani when you land that one just absolutely juicy ultimate. So with MAOKAI, they're gonna try to put a bit more moments that will actually be noticeable, kind of like with the old Katarina. A lot of people would kind of see Katarina, she would go off, she would just do a bunch of shit in team fights, go off, you know, spam her buttons, and people will be like, I mean, okay, she got a pentakill, but it didn't really look all that impressive. But the new Katarina, she can look damn impressive. She can do some really crazy stuff. Definitely can have those noticeable moments, and I believe this is what they want to do with MAOKAI, where, yeah, he'll still be, for the most part, simple to play, but at the same time, he'll have a lot more depth to his kit, and he'll be able to make these sort of outstanding plays that people will notice and be like, damn, did you see that MAOKAI play? That was actually really cool. The next point that they talk about is also very similar to what we just talked about as well, rewarding gameplay mastery. MAOKAI and many other tanks don't have a huge skill curve to them. They don't have the biggest skill gap. You can just play them, probably play 5 games, just like Sejuani, just like Nautilus, probably any other tank champion in the game. And chances are you're going to be playing them just as well, if not maybe even better, than someone that's already invested maybe 100 or 200 or even 1,000 games into them. There isn't enough things in MAOKAI's kit that you can really differentiate between a person that really understands how to play MAOKAI and a person that's just sort of very average. And Riot also says how, well, I mean, League of Legends should be about just actually putting in a lot of time into a champion and it showing. You should be able to show off that, you know what, I played 500 games with this champion, I played 600 games with MAOKAI. Here's what I can do that I bet you cannot do until you've invested at least 200 games or so, and you want to make that very obvious. Currently, that is not happening with MAOKAI. That is not just something something that is very noticeable or obvious at all, so they want to try and sort of focus more on this and reward players for investing and putting in more time into learning tank champions, for example, of course, MAOKAI. And I without question fully agree, because when you see a champion maybe like Zed, maybe like Yasuo, maybe like even Fiora, you know, people that invested a lot of time into them and they start doing these really cool kind of small tricks here and there that you didn't even know were possible, or they just time things really well, or they just do really fancy stuff, it's always very cool to watch. Tanks are always considered to be the boring champions. No one really wants to watch a tank. There isn't a whole lot of impressive things they can do. They're just essentially these big ass walls that just soak up as much damage while have these very simple abilities, and I mean, they rarely offer a kind of wow factor to whether it's the player, to the enemy team, to the allied team, to the spectators. And this is something they want to focus on. And the way they apparently want to do this is just kind of change around his damage reliability by not making his damage so obvious and expecting a shift in how his damage is dealt, and his optimal output is going to be less of a guaranteed thing. And last but not least, fleshing out the fantasy. Now this is something I feel like Riot has actually been doing quite well with the new champions they've been releasing, whether it's the reworks like Warwick, whether it's the new champions maybe like Azir back in the days, maybe someone like Camille. You know, whenever you're playing one of these new champions or the rework champions, you actually feel like you're playing that kind of champion. Like with Warwick now, you feel like you're legitimately playing this sort of predator champion, you know, that's running around and trying to stalk people down, and it just fills the fantasy perfectly. Or when you're playing Azir, you know, you really truly feel like you're playing the Emperor of Shurima, and this is something Riot has been doing much better at. Even better example, probably one of the best examples in the game in my opinion, Jhin. You really truly feel like you're playing this sort of psychotic-ish murder champion, you know, that's a true sniper that really just looks at art and death as just a beautiful thing, and you fully get that vibe. But not so much with MAOKAI, especially ever since they reworked the lore, because essentially with the Shadow Isle harrowing event, MAOKAI has progressed from a depressed and gloomy tree into a vengeful and twisted Trent. And his shift in lore with what he is and how he's established, it doesn't really fit his thematic gameplay currently in the video game of League of Legends. So Riot essentially wants to focus on this actual gameplay fantasy of playing this sort of vengeful and twisted tree person in the top lane, and they want to make you truly feel like you're playing such a champion, and you're not playing just some random ass tree that just happens to be, you know, pretty damn strong in the meta, that happens to have these pretty damn useful abilities for his team, and that's about it. So they say expect MAOKAI to express more than just sadness and remorse. Overall, a pretty good path on MAOKAI. I have to say, they're trying to make him more in-depth. They're trying to make actually, you know, playing MAOKAI be rewarding. They're trying to make his damage less important, or at least less noticeable, but him being an actual tank and offering more tanky type things to his team and to himself as well. All in all, seems like they're going in the right direction with MAOKAI, and I'm very excited to see what they do with him, and hopefully these tanks, including MAOKAI and Sejuani, will be more rewarding to watch, will be more fun champions, and just, you know, you won't be bored and you won't be kind of sad if you're ever forced on a tank champion. You'll actually want to play them. That's the ultimate goal in my opinion, and I really hope Riot can do that. But either way guys, that is about it for this video. There you have it, the MAOKAI rework. It is on its way, cannot wait to have it out. I will have all gameplays of every single tank rework when it finally comes onto the PvE server. You know I'll be on that as fast as I possibly can. But if you're excited for the MAOKAI rework, if you think Riot is doing the right thing and going in the right direction, then let me know by hitting that like button. If you think Riot maybe should do something better or different, then let me know by writing something in the comments below. Let me hear your thoughts on MAOKAI's gameplay direction for his rework. But either way, thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you for the next video. Peace.